Welcome, what it do and what's popping. It's your boy MarcusJDestin, and we are back once again with another great episode of InstaViews. I want to thank Jackson Free just for a dope ass interview. Y'all really ran the numbers up on that last one, like 100 plus views on both part 1 and part 2. So I think it's dope that I get to do this, and it's dope that y'all are watching and enjoying, and I appreciate it. For those of you that don't know, InstaViews is my chance to talk to creatives, personalities, artists from all over, just far and wide, that you may not know, or for people that may know and want to know more. This is just my opportunity to interview people that I know that I think are just some of the dopest people like ever. So it's my chance to bring some insight to some of the illest instantly, and I got one of the illest with me today, the songstress supreme, Myiah Lynnae. What's going on? Listen, I'm nervous. I'm super nervous because I love Myiah. Anybody that
I love you too.
I love Myiah's personality. We haven't even known each other for a long time, but it feels like we've known each other like forever. So
Thanks.
yeah, it's pretty crazy. Like, how are you doing?
I'm doing okay.
Okay.
I'm a little stressed. I told you a little bit. I'm a little stressed, but other than that, I'm doing okay. I'm feeling thankful. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna vacate my chair because I made myself a cocktail before this.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Well, while Myiah gets ready, I want to take this time again to thank y'all, for real, because y'all really took this shit out of the park. A lot of compliments, a lot of questions. Y'all are now asking questions. Y'all are getting involved, and that's what this whole thing is about. Just not only just the past quarantine, but just because it's some dope shit, and I know dope people. It's a blessing to know dope people. So that's what we are. That's where we at with it. So we got a lot. Y'all sent in questions. Y'all was not playing no games, so we're gonna get right to it. I'm gonna let Myiah introduce this song. So Myiah, tell us what this is. What am I about to play for people right now?
So right now, this is actually unreleased because people keep asking, "Oh, Myiah, where's the music? Are you still making music? Where's the music?" So yes, I have been working on music, and this is called Irrational. Mm-hmm. I've been practicing vulnerability, everybody, and it's hard. Yeah. Can I cuss next?
Yeah, you damn right.
It's fucking hard.
It's fucking hard.
Fucking hard. So yeah, this is called Irrational. It's unreleased. So just a little sneak peek. Just a little sneak peek.
Okay, we've been honored. So here goes Irrational.
Sometimes it's hard to do it. Don't let nobody know. Who can I return? Who really understands? I can't hold my feelings. Guess it's just who I am. So pull up a cup and light me another one. If I'm going up and I'm coming down, ooh, I just want a good distraction. Irrational. All the shit that's on my mind be getting hard to handle.
Listen, that shit is raw as fuck. Listen, ooh, y'all can. This little Yeti microphone ain't even doing it justice. Okay. Yeah, she hitting some notes in there. That make you, when your family got to do like this when you a church, you like ooh. I be sounding like a howling dog trying to hit these notes in the crib, man.
Okay.
Ooh. So Myiah, like, okay, let me wait because I'm excited. So we are gonna start off with a game called Make It Quick. Okay, so we ain't got all day. We're gonna have to make this quick. All right. So I'm going to give you some this or that questions. You pick. Mm-hmm. Now, they don't really mean anything, but the last this or that game I played with Jackson Free, I got a couple phone calls because he picked Wizards of Waverly Place over Harry Potter, and people was upset.
Whoa, Jackson, Mr. Jackson.
Mr. Jackson. Mr. Jackson made this decision. I got some phone calls. It was like, yo, what's wrong with your mans? So I don't know if this is going to affect your fan base. So you got to be careful on what you selecting because I found out this matters. All right.
Okay.
All right. So here we go. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. Phone calls or FaceTimes?
Oh my God. Are we still on the phone? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can see you. Yep.
Okay, somebody called me. Sorry. Phone calls or FaceTimes? As a female, let me just say it depends. I prefer FaceTime.
Okay.
But sometimes you got to schedule it. Depends on who it is.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's very likely that you will be talking to the ceiling.
That's honestly, yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got FaceTime. All right. FaceTime or text?
Oh. Am I allowed to say it's a case-by-case basis?
No, you got to pick, and you got to make it quick.
FaceTime.
Okay, bet. Okay, swimming or sunbathing?
Swimming.
Okay.
Swimming.
Okay. Love or lust?
Love.
Okay.
Love.
Okay. Jill
Love
Scott.
can have lust.
Good love leads to great lust, and I think that's what people are missing.
That's a lyric.
That's, you know what? Let me go right there.
That's a lyric.
It's like, you know what I'm saying? People don't get that, but they don't get that though. They don't be there though. They're not there for that. Jill Scott or Erykah Badu?
Fuck. My mom just asked me this.
Oh, really?
Yes, because they're doing a versus thing, and I'm like, oh my God, how do I choose? First of all, I love them both dearly, and I know you said it has to be quick. So my first mind says Erykah Badu. Okay. But I love them both equally.
Okay. That's fair. That's a hard decision. I made it hard on purpose.
It is. Yeah.
Now you know more about this than I do, but I just wrote 2 random signs. So Pisces or Virgo?
Beyonce's a Virgo.
Okay. Which
I dated a Pisces, it was hell.
Oh, damn. Okay. I don't even know what that means. So what does it mean to date a Pisces?
I love Pisces. Don't get me wrong. I love Pisces. And just like with everything else in the world, it's all about case by case and everything's just a matter of balance. But Pisces are they're dreamers and they're very emotional and they can get caught up in like a fantasy world or caught up in their own feelings or they're just emotional. I'm already very emotional, but because I'm a Taurus, I'm a earth sign, I can come off as grounded, which really is just a matter of suppressing shit. Yeah. Pisces don't really do that. They just kind of act on it or blurt it out, or at least my experience with Pisces. Or they can get stuck. I don't know. Pisces are just very emotional. Virgos are very goal-oriented, grounded. They're still very emotional, but they're hard-working, calculated. Like, they're just, first of all, Beyonce, Michael motherfucking Jackson.
Motherfucking Jackson.
It's a lot of Virgos. A lot of artists that are Virgos, they are amazing, phenomenal, so. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Virgo.
So you kind of, I feel like you kind of answered the question, but this next question, Beyonce or Rihanna?
Beyonce.
Okay. Ooh, that was quick. You quick.
I love Rihanna, but Beyonce.
Okay. Gospel or R&B?
R&B. Sorry, God.
Sorry, Lord. My bad, man. You should have made the R&B, man. That's your fault.
Now, gospel R&B, that shit slaps. Excuse my language, God. Gospel R&B goes crazy. I've heard some gospel R&B.
Who is some gospel R&B artists? Because I don't know. What do you consider that?
Molly Music is an R&B gospel artist.
Yeah, he's dope. He's dope as fuck. I love Molly.
He's super cool. I'm trying to think of somebody else. We can loop back around to that, but
it's like PJ Morton.
PJ Morton. Yeah, that was a good one. Yes, PJ Morton for sure.
I feel that. I do. Yeah. Okay, I agree with you on that then for sure. Energy drink or coffee?
Energy drink, because coffee make me shit.
Okay. Oh yeah. All right. Cool. Plane or road trip?
Road trip. I'm terrified of planes.
Oh really?
I'm terrified.
Oh damn! I didn't know that. Okay.
It's not even so much that I'm really scared of the plane itself. My biggest fear is free falling.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
And so yes. Yeah.
Okay. Pen or pencil?
Pen.
Okay. Why do I have this question on here twice? Okay. Dream girls or Love and Basketball?
Dream girls.
Okay. And yeah, I think that was it. Yeah, that's it. So, shout out to Myiah Lynnae. She, you know what I'm saying? She validated all of her statements, you know what I'm saying? And that's what it's all about. So,
and I stand behind them.
You got to down that hill because you ain't got much of a choice.
Right.
So let's get into it, Maya. Where are you from? What do you rep?
I was born in Washington State,
Okay.
but I am a Portsmouth girl. I'm 757 down to the socks. Virginia all day long.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I was raised. So yeah, 75. What's up? What's
Okay.
up with it?
Okay. How have you spent your quarantine time?
I've spent my quarantine time. Um, I've spent my quarantine time inside of myself, if that makes sense. I've spent it. It's been a very introspective period for me.
Mm-hmm.
I've been lucky enough. I'm still here to have spent a big chunk of quarantine in LA. So it's a new environment. New environments shake me up.
Okay.
Like I said, I'm a Taurus. I'm an Earth sign. I'm also a fixed sign. So I like routine and I like to be comfortable.
Okay.
So to have been in a space where I am fucking uncomfortable 90% of the time,
Yeah.
it's really allowed me to explore like different versions of myself and get to know myself in a way that maybe I wouldn't have before.
Okay. Okay.
So that's how I've spent it.
What's one thing you've taken away about yourself from this quarantine?
What's one thing I've taken away about myself in quarantine? I need to learn how to like seize the moment more
Okay.
and maybe release fear a little more and not be so scared of whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like you. Yeah.
Okay. 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 Yeah. I'm okay. Yes. See, we get into the nitty gritty because I got questions rolling through my head, but we are gonna get through the meat. We are gonna get through the meat first. We gonna get to the meat.
Okay.
So let's go back to a statement that you made at the beginning. You talked about where's the music? People ask you like, where's the music? Are you still making music, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
Where has Myiah been in these past few years? Spiritually, mentally, physically?
I have been everywhere.
Okay. Okay.
I feel like I promise I have been the worst versions of myself, the best versions of myself, or at least
Mm-hmm.
for a moment. I've been any emotion that you can really think of, I've been there.
Okay.
It's been interesting.
Okay.
It's been interesting.
Okay.
Which I think is really what's kind of like inspired, or not even really inspired. It's almost like I'm kind of stuck inside my own head, and not really in a bad way, not always in a bad way anyway, but just like I'm just on a path of like self-exploration and like growth.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't stop or get out until whatever I'm supposed to, evolve into,
Mm-hmm.
or whatever, destiny that I'm supposed to realize. I can't get out of it until it's been realized.
Okay.
Yeah.
Has that journey been worth it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It doesn't feel good.
Okay.
It feels like hell often,
Mm-hmm.
but it's been worth it.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
definitely been worth it. Yeah.
Okay. How has that, and this is just off the cuff, how has that affected or shifted the music?
Almost kind of like how I said before, like about Irrational, like it's really just shifted it from like I want it to be personal. I want it to mean something.
Yeah.
I want it to be felt and not just heard.
Yeah.
Like I don't want it to just be like, oh, this a bop. Even though of course I still want to make bops because duality.
Yeah.
I'm still all of these things. I'm multifaceted, but at the same time, it's like I want the core of it to be like a feeling.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I want to be able to be open and expressive because I've lived a fat chunk of my life closed off and guarded and fearful. And so now it's like, okay, my nigga, we either gonna stay boxed in like this forever,
Mm-hmm.
or we're going to learn how to like open up and really let people in. And that's so terrifying.
Yeah.
It's so scary. But just like the previous, it's worth it. I can't help but to believe that it'll be completely worth it.
Yeah.
In the long run.
Yeah. I think
so.
It's when you talk about living in that duality, I feel like people, the world, they think very much black and white. Like you either have to be this or you have to be that, and you can't be anywhere in between of these gray areas.
That's so true.
Which is a part of the trauma of like growing up, life lessons, generational curses. Like it's how we're taught. It's how the system has like kind of trained us, conditioned us to be in this society, at home, whatever social circles you live in. So like, I think that's a great point to talk about that duality of, yes, I can make a hit, and yes, I can. It's either people be like, I either need Future or I need J.Cole, but nobody ever wants to meet in the middle of like, no, I can find an in-between artist that is both, that satisfies both needs of my duality and my identity. So
that's so true.
I think that's a very, very good point, and a great point to mention and bring up. So so before we go further, let's talk about how we've met, because I don't think I've ever done that with people and artists in general. So so how do we want to start? You start. So how did you hear about me, and then I will give my side of hearing about Myiah and like our relationship.
So we met through a friend of yours, once mutual friend of ours. And I'll let you take it from there.
Okay, great. Yeah, no, that's pretty much it. So I heard a lot about Myiah through this friend, and it was a lot of music was being shown. It was a lot. And it was like, this is it. And this was in the process of us trying to develop something, and we were trying to piece something together, and we had this genius plan of creating this record label. And we were going to do it in-house with people that, we knew, and this kind of stuff. So he was showing me these people. Now, he would send me different artists all the time. But the day that I heard Myiah, it was very different. The day I heard Myiah, I ran to the room and I showed my mom. And she said, oh, absolutely. I said, Mama, you have to hear this. Because this is at a point where my mom was just getting into supporting, not necessarily supporting, but really understanding my music and how I am. And so she's like, no, she wants to be a part. She wants to learn. She's actually listening to my lyrics. So I tell her, like, listen to this. So she listens to the song and she says, that girl's got it. And I said, yeah, but she's done this before with a friend of mine I went to high school with, who's now like this big time YouTuber. And I showed the video of her, and she says, that girl's got it. And every time she does it, it's like automatically this thing shifts and happens. But that goes more into, and I think Myiah will understand this, that goes more into the spirit of discernment, the gift of discernment, being in church, and like that's a whole thing we can have another conversation about. But my mom just knows. She just sees it and she knows. So I was getting familiar with Myiah through the music. I physically we met in person the day that I came for spring break, and I got off the plane. It was a long plane ride, whatever. And Myiah gave me this hug like she knew me forever. Like she knew me for a long time. And it didn't feel, at least it didn't feel like it. It didn't feel like a fake hug that was more like oh no, that's just, like this mutual friend's friend. Let me just welcome him, like, whatever. Right. It felt like it was the most genuine hug that felt like I've known
that
Myiah
makes me
forever.
Warm.
It was, listen, when I tell you me and it always feels like, because Myiah is super busy. Myiah is a super fucking star. So it feels like for me, I'm like, man, I hope I'm not getting on Myiah's nerves, but I really do consider Myiah like a really good friend of mine. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, and like, I pray, just like I pray for like my closest friends. I pray for you, and I pray for my people like success or whatever it is that they need at the time that they receive it and get it. Okay. So like I met Myiah, and that week was the busiest week to do things for us. We had a photo shoot We went to the studio. We got pulled over. We got
Yeah. Oh my God. Handcuff.
handcuffed. Went to Walmart. We got pulled over twice. Then got handcuffed. Went to Walmart.
Yeah.
Damn near almost got pulled over again.
I ate a little bit of weed. I'm not gonna hold you. Some weed in the backseat. I ate it.
You know what's funny? That night, you know what's funny about that night? I had looked back just to check the room, just trying to check the vibrations.
Right.
I look back and I see, because I have an open bottle of alcohol between my legs. The studio we were in was like smoky. So all of my clothes are just, we fried. We just smell like cabbage. The devil's lettuce. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to hold you.
Yep.
I look back, I see Myiah chewing, but I'm like, she got gum. And I was like, damn, I want some gum. But I never asked. I was like, yo, I want to get some gum.
I'm glad you didn't, because I would have said, it's weed. I'm sorry. It's weed. I'm trying to keep my nigga from getting fined. It was weed.
That was how I knew. If I didn't know before, this is how I knew Myiah was a ride or die that time. Because I didn't find out till later. It was like, no, she ate that. And I was like, oh shit. And me and Jarrell was in the back. When we went to Walmart, me and Jarrell looked at each other like, what the fuck? He was like, yeah. And he just walked off like, yeah, and I'm like, okay. But
yeah, I ate that.
To make like a trooper too, like a fucking trooper. Like, okay, yeah. So, just to make a long story less long, me and Myiah had a lot of, like, we had a conversation, and it was about something that I've never shared with my mom. It was about just something I've never shared with anybody else. And so I something just allowed me to open up to Myiah, and really that conversation did something. So that's part one. It was a 3-piece. That conversation did something for our relationship. We went to go record there's a series called the Naked series, or Who is Johnny Creative, right? Shout out to the Naked series. We went to go record there, and I got to see Myiah perform in front of a mic. It's a thing where you go completely a cappella, you go raw, like you just give it to her straight up. I see that, and I had to go next, and I'm nervous. There's a room full of artists watching you, and these are like well-established artists or veterans of this series who've been here before. Myiah's going on, and if you know Myiah's personality, she's doing the butterfly. She is like, she's dancing, she's smiling, she's just being Myiah. I'm nervous as fuck because I have to go next. But that was the night that I found my confidence in the artist that I was. So that's part 2, okay? The last one, and these are not in order, in any particular order. When we went to the studio, right? We wrote the song. We have this song that hopefully we still get to do together. We have this song, and Myiah starts singing. No vocal, like no additions, no effects. She's singing, the microphone up and down. But it's not the fact that she could sing, because everybody knows that. It's how picky she was about what she was singing. No, I don't like that. Do it over. No, I don't like that. Do it over. No, I don't like that. Do it over. And it was that said, this is somebody that's particular about their craft. And although from the outside it looks like, yo, Myiah can sing her ass off. I will put her up against anybody, even that's already signed, like, to sing, and Myiah will sing them underneath the carpet. Okay, I wish that I could. I posted a video on my Snapchat, but it wouldn't even do it justice. Like, you had to be there, and it was a late night. It was like we couldn't get our music together. I had a book full of sticky notes that was just falling apart. We were trying to get beats. We're trying to get all this stuff together. It's super duper late. Everybody's tired. We've been running around all day, and she's just singing, and she's still particular. And I said, this girl, she's got it. Like, that's it. And she just has this spirit and this life about her. So that's how I know.
Okay, thank you.
She
make me cry. You gonna make me emotional. Okay.
No, don't be. No, honestly, this is how I honestly felt. How I honestly feel still, even with, what happened, what has happened, and like how our lives have changed in like the matter of a year or whatever the case may be.
Right.
I still it was one of those people that was like, you can't just let go. You know what I'm saying? Like, it felt like a God ordained relationship. Even if it's not one of those where we have to talk every day. Well, we have to do this every day. We have to communicate every day. When we talk, and it's great conversation. It's needed on both sides. Like, whether I need to just shut the fuck up and just listen to what she's saying and just be a helpful ear, or actually talking, and vice versa. Like, I called Myiah, and Myiah was the one that gave me a pep talk before I went to go perform. And that was the best pep talk ever. And like I said, the day I found confidence. So that's how I know Myiah. Long story that I made longer, but here we are.
It's a beautiful story.
Thank you. I think so too. I appreciate our relationship. So,
Me too.
moving forward, how long have you been making music, involved in music, that kind of stuff?
So I've been singing all my life. I think I really was like first introduced to like being serious about music. I've been singing all my life, doing talent shows like all since I can fucking remember.
Yeah.
But I think I first started like being serious about music when I was 16. I got into a group. It's in a girl group. It's the shittiest experience of my life.
Oh.
Just let's air that out. It was
Okay.
just not even necessarily like, it was just like, it really like woke me up to like the fact that I feel like I connect easily to people, but I don't necessarily let people in to connect to me.
Okay.
And that leaves me to feel often like alienated or like left outside of things.
Okay.
And I feel like up until like even still to this day, I'm experiencing or I encounter experiences that cement that feeling or that cement that lie that like I'm not really wanted or like people don't really whatever. So like the experience that I have, and not all experiences, because sometimes I'm the one who's just like self-sabotaging or even just sabotaging or like, you know, duality.
Yeah.
It's not always, I'm not always the victim. Sometimes I am the fucking villain.
Yeah.
But I think in that particular situation, it was just like I was so young. It was I wanted so badly to be loved and accepted and seen and appreciated, especially amongst my peers.
Yeah.
So it's just like I'm like a shapeshifter. Who do you need me to be? What do you need me to be? Like, what version of me would get the most like love and appreciation and acceptance from you? Like, and that was just like to be only 16 and then also still having like my own personal shit going on outside of that. It was just like a dark time. And then being so easily manipulated, because manipulators can smell that shit on you when you're like, when you want so badly, or when you're like need love so badly, or just long for something, like they smell that shit from a mile away. And they can't wait to, you know, get you where they want you. So I was in that group for about I was in that group till I turned 18 or 19. So 16. Yeah, like 3 years. Yeah. Which are super important developmental years.
Damn right.
Especially for a young lady, anybody really, but especially for a young lady, because it's like, well, who am I and what kind of a person do I want to be like, and how do I really like embrace my own personal sense of like femininity, and what does it mean to be like a woman, or just like all these things, especially being surrounded by other women, and then also having to learn like, or having to unlearn like, we're not in like, this is not a competition, like especially if we're supposed to be a unit. I don't know, the shit was just weird. It was just weird. But that is where I started to take music more seriously. It's just funny because I started at one end of the spectrum and ended at the complete opposite end. So while I came in super excited and eager about exploring who I was as a musician and as a singer, and learning who I was through music and through this musical experience, by the time I came out of it, it was like, I fucking hate music. I don't want to do this shit. I hate it so much. Like anything that I sat down and created, I was like, well, this shit's not good enough. Because while I was there, it was like I had people telling me like, you're not only curly haired, light skinned bitch who can sing, like grown ass women telling me shit like this. Damn. It was just a really like eye-opening experience that now I can look back on and see like, one, I can see where a few of my insecurities that I still carry are rooted, but I can also see like examples of what I don't want to be, which helps me to steer more down the path of like who I'm destined to become. Yeah. So, but it's crazy because I started at 16. I got out maybe at like 18 or maybe just about to turn 19. And I think at that same time I had started working on my very first solo project. And the whole time I'm creating the project, I'm just like, I hate all of this. I hate everything about it. I don't like any of it. I don't even want to make music. But I put it out and people were so receptive to it. And then I made another project. So my first two projects, I think I made maybe in like 2016 or 2017. I can't even really remember. But people were so receptive to it and was like, oh my God, I love this, or I love that, or I love your story about this. And so then moving out of that experience moving out of that album, which was an experience. So my first album was called Ethereal.
Okay.
Which was actually kind of more focused on like, the songs like were about like learning how to put myself first, or learning about like relationship shit, or like getting through relationships, or like toxic relationships and shit like that, which was I was also going through at the time. That time period was just real crazy for me. I had a lot of shit going on around that time. But then my second shit back in the days, that one was more about, which when I made Back in the Days, it was funny because I was in LA when I got the idea for it. And I was like, I want to do like a 80s pop rock type album, like that's like real, like old school, which is why the title is Back in the Days. And I think I put that out in 2017. I can't really remember, but that one was more about through that whole process of creating that project. I was depressed as fuck. I was in a fucking not a terrible relationship, but I was in a relationship where I was lost, like myself. Like when you don't know yourself, you end up in situations that just, you know, confine you into like that feeling of like being confused and just not knowing like, well, who am I? What do I do from here? And like, what the fuck is really going on? Like, what's real? How do I feel? Like just all these emotions. And through that entire project, mind you, I wanted it to be like an 80s pop rock, like lighthearted project, but I'm making the whole project and I'm depressed as fuck. Like I hate everything about my life. Like it's just, I was in Atlanta. I wasn't around my family or my friends. I was kind of in a situation where it was like I had to be, again, like I mentioned before, that whole shapeshifter, the idea of being a shapeshifter, like not even walking in authenticity or knowing who I was, or being confident enough in myself to really be who I was. But I had the white picket fence and the happy, like outside looking in, like great relationship. We got a dog, we got an apartment, but on the inside, I'm fucked up. I'm just fucked. Yeah. But that whole project was kind of just about like soul searching and finding myself. And of course there are some love songs because I was in a relationship. And even in the midst of the mess that was going on inside of me, I'm one of those people who just finds completion in partnership. Yeah. So I can sing about love songs all fucking day, no matter how toxic or fucked up the relationship is. So, but yeah, those were, I don't even remember the question. I'm sorry. I just kind of started rambling.
It don't even fucking matter because you answered a lot of like post questions to that question.
Okay.
One question I did have, I saw the cover for your first project.
Okay.
What's the word? What's the word? What does that word mean?
Ethereal?
Yes. What is that, and what does it mean?
So, ethereal is like heavenly. It's like otherworldly. It's like just like an air of like, fairy tale isn't even a sufficient like definition. It's like just heavenly, like the ethers. If you know what ethers are, like it's just ethereal. It's just a fantastical, which is the complete fucking opposite of how I felt. Yeah. But even when you think about something being ethereal, or when you think about the ethers, like, and when you think about the duality, which is funny how everything just keeps kind of like connecting to one another. But when you think about the duality of something that is ethereal or heavenly, you can't have heaven if there was no hell. There would be no heaven. Absolutely. So absolutely. That's really kind of like. And that's something I just came up with now, because when I was like, oh, just call it ethereal. Yeah. Okay. But now it's just like, I can see, like, it's crazy because the project was about, like, or the project's name was ethereal. It was supposed to be heavenly, but that's not how I felt at all. It's
crazy because do you consider your music therapy? And do you write through the pain, or do you take it on and never let it go?
I think it's probably a little bit of both. And I think also now I know I'm learning more than before how to actually like take how I feel or use how I feel and really like allow myself to be expressive and put it in the music and sing about it, because I've become so accustomed to like, you can even, I hate when people do this, when they're trying to like prove what they're saying is true. You can ask my mom or you can ask whatever, but like dead ass though, like as a young kid, my mom would always ask me, well, what's wrong? Or why da 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 da? I would just shut down. I just would shut up. I wouldn't say anything. We would just sit there and look at each other. Myiah, please, I just want to know what's wrong with you. Please just like, let me know what's wrong. And I'm just sitting there like this.
Yeah.
And I've become so accustomed to sitting in silence and just holding whatever, just holding it in and just not letting anybody have access to that part of me. And I don't know if it's because I think that my emotions are going to burden somebody, or I don't know if it's because like I'm still trying to like search for whatever that root is and why I shut down like that. But it's like, I'm just now learning, even with myself, how to open up those parts of myself and access them and be able to transcend that emotion, like, and take it from being something that has to be such a secret, or like don't have emotions or don't feel anything. Like I'm just now learning how to really like let it fly.
Yeah.
And honestly, I just started. It's really fucking, it's hard as hell.
Yeah.
But I'm glad, because I would hate for it to end up goddamn nigga have an aneurysm because I don't know how to express myself. So
Right.
it's about time. It's about time.
That's
so, yeah.
Once again, something else that's very underrated that people don't talk about a lot. Just how bad holding that stuff in is very toxic. You know what I'm saying? And like bad, like before all this stuff shut down, like I'm in school, so I get access to like healthcare and that kind of stuff like that. I was seeing like a therapist, and prior to it, people were telling me like, you got real bad bags under your eyes, like you look exhausted, you look beat down. And so the day after I saw the therapist, we were just talking. It was like casual conversation, what felt like casual conversation. And the next day, people were telling me, like, you look like you're glowing. Like, something is different. Like, you just, like...
I want to do therapy so bad.
I recommend it to anybody. To even if there's... And here's the fucked up part. Is, like, there's so many negative connotations to therapy. And people believe you only got to go if you're fucked up. Like, no.
Everybody's fucked up.
Right. Everybody has
we walk through life and we've become so accustomed to comparing ourselves to other people, like, well, my struggle doesn't look like hers, so you must be struggling worse than me, so what the fuck do I need therapy for? Everybody's fucked up.
Yep.
Everybody is.
Yep. And if you don't embrace it, you become like you said, the victim or the villain. You end up becoming the villain, like in the end, because you've never embraced it. You've got this grudge. You've got this thing that you're carrying around.
Yeah.
You
become the villain in the physical, but spiritually you're the victim.
Yep.
You've just completely, like, you're not even going out like a warrior. Just fuck it. You're just going out like a simp.
Yep.
Because you're not even gonna try and fight against, like, fuck that.
Yep.
It's hard.
And you justifying the actions and like all the shit that, well, the world is against me, and if this person can do it, I can do it too. Like, it's never, once again, that black and white. Things can never be that black and white. So yeah, you just, I'm enjoying the shit, and we can really talk about it. But once again, all necessary shit that I think not just artists should know, but just people should know. Like, you really got to take care of yourselves. And this quarantine has scared the fuck out of me personally. Like, just me, because being stuck, I realized I don't look at myself in the mirror. Like, for me. So it's like, I hate it.
Why?
So, well, it was at one point I hated it. I have a lot of insecurities about my physical appearance and just things in general, not even weight. But for some reason, I don't look at myself in a mirror for too long.
You should. And when you do, you should affirm things to yourself, because you're a very handsome man.
Thank you. Thanks, Myiah.
Inside and out, you're a beautiful person.
Thank you.
And you should want to see yourself and affirm those types of things. I used to avoid mirrors too, though, I'm not gonna lie. Or if I would look in the mirror, I would stay in the mirror too long and I would pick myself apart. I would say some terrible shit to myself.
Yep.
But that's a learned behavior.
Yeah. And I don't know where the fuck it came from. I don't know.
Not only is it's a learned behavior, but the thing that's so crazy is it doesn't even need to necessarily be said. Like, growing up, I was bullied growing up. Like, in elementary school, I was bullied really bad. And then I was also kind of like an outsider in middle school as well. And then so that kind of taught me how to like create this facade of like, okay, shape shifting. Let me be this person, or if I'm this version of myself with these people, then I'll be more likely to be accepted, and then I won't feel so outside. But I promise you, it was just maybe like a week ago. I was laying in my bed and I was just having one of those nights, because sometimes it's just hard. Sometimes shit's just fucking hard. It doesn't even matter how great the day was. Like, sometimes I just get overwhelmed and heavy, and just like, it's just because like I've lived my life so long, like suppressing everything. Sometimes that shit just hits you all at once, out of fucking nowhere.
Yep.
And I was laying in my bed one night and I was just like, bro, I don't think I'm ever going to fit in anywhere. I don't think I'm ever really going to feel like welcomed or loved or like genuinely seen for my authentic self and felt like for just being me. And I was just like, well, if I can't live the rest of my life as a shapeshifter, then it must mean that I'm supposed to be or create some type of an environment of my own. I have to be confident enough to do that though, because I have to be comfortable with being by myself, which is difficult for me. But I have to be comfortable enough with being by myself to be able to build and then also fortify an environment for people who are just like me. Who don't fit in other places, who also want to be seen and felt and heard and appreciated and accepted. And without having to like, I don't want to live the rest of my life just like faking through it. Like that shit is whack as fuck. I hate that shit. And it just cements depression. So,
you're absolutely right. It's weird because, you know, anytime I mention like South Dakota, everybody's like, why the fuck do you live in South Dakota? Why the fuck do you live in South Dakota? But like I found myself in South Dakota. Like whatever it was when I was in Virginia and North Carolina.
That's an album name. I found myself in South Dakota.
Yeah, it's like a country album though. Like I
nah, that's a hard ass album name. I found myself in South Dakota, bitch. What? Who the fuck?
What type of beats is on that? Like a trap beat? You were
that
like,
that shit would be hard. Let me go to South Dakota.
But it's great. It honestly, it's been the craziest thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Being forced to find yourself. I'm glad that it happened before we got to quarantine. Like, obviously, I'm still dealing with these things about myself that don't really come like, I have a wonderful mother who raised me, you know what I'm saying, by herself. And then I had a father who came in and took the responsibility, raised a family. I have a great support system. So it's not
Isn't it so funny how, I'm sorry,
no,
please don't forget what you're saying. But isn't it so funny how, just like how we were talking about before, like, well, there's nothing wrong with me, I don't need therapy, but isn't it so funny how you can still experience pain and hardship mentally and spiritually when you come from a strong foundation? That just goes to show everybody's fucked up. Okay, sorry, continue.
No, that's it. I mean, it didn't matter. You know what I'm saying? Like when we had our discussion at that Kitchen Island, it like you could base it off of that, but then there's so many stories I see of people going left after things happen like that. You know what I'm saying? But like for me, it was like it wasn't like a traumatic experience or anything like that as far as I know, but I didn't have anything really that was bad, but God did put me in a position to face myself. Like I was in the church, involved in the church, thought that was something I was supposed to be doing. Everybody was telling me, you're supposed to be a preacher. You're supposed to be a minister. You're supposed to be on stage. And I think that in the environment, people, and I'm gonna move on after this, but in the environment, people put us into these categories because it's the only categories that they know. So the church people are telling me, you belong in the pulpit. And then the other people are telling me, no, you should do stand-up comedy because people think you're funny. And then the other people are telling me, you should be a motivational speaker. When in actuality, I found, you know, you come to South Dakota, you find your love in the microphone. I just like talking. I like talking and I love doing the podcast and I love doing music and I love doing these interviews because it allows me a platform. And I think that's what it is. But I don't know. Everything you said is just a fucking one. And you hit that shit right on the damn head. And please don't feel bad for talking because that's what this is supposed to be. It's just a natural conversation, right? You know what I'm saying? So man, okay, I'm gonna ask this question. We're gonna go this and then we're gonna keep going to the better stuff. So who are your top 2 inspirations when it comes to your music?
Sonically, I can't really put a name to it, if I'm being honest. I can tell you my top 2 like people who I really like just genuinely love and admire. It would be, and it's so crazy that you asked me this earlier. Everything's just so connected. I love it. That's what my tattoo right here means. But anyway, Erykah Badu and Beyonce are my top favorite. Just because, like, first of all, Beyonce's work ethic is fucking crazy. Her growth is phenomenal. When she first started, like when Destiny's Child was first getting started, Beyonce could sing, but she was nowhere fucking near the vocalist that she is now. That nigga Beyonce is a vocal fucking beast. She's insane.
To be honest,
yeah, she's crazy. And it's just, to me, it's just such a confidence builder because one, kind of just believing like, oh, well, I'm not good enough, or having even people verbally telling me like, you'll never be, or you're not this, or da 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 da. It's just like, it don't matter how anybody perceives me. It really honestly sometimes doesn't even matter how I perceive myself. Sometimes the shit that I think about myself, and Tracy Ellis Ross said this in an interview she did with Oprah, sometimes the shit that I think about myself is none of my fucking business. That shit can go in the fucking trash. It's none of my business.
Yeah.
And that shit hit me so hard because it's like, that's so true. I'll hold myself back so much if I just really like continue to agree with the lies that I tell myself.
Yeah.
But Beyonce, just her growth is so inspirational, and her work ethic is so inspirational because it's like, it just goes to show, if you put the work in, nothing is impossible. Nothing is outside of your reach.
Yeah.
And then Erykah Badu is just this crazy, fly, dope ass MC, singing, spiritual, beautiful Black woman. And that within and of itself is just inspiring as fuck to me, because I think Black women are the physical embodiment of God, and they are the only physical embodiment of God that walks on planet Earth. Black women are just everything to me, bro. They're just amazing. So, yeah, Erykah Badu and Beyonce would have to be my top two. Sonically, though, I can't put a name to it, but sonically, I would say, like, I really love, like, you see me bobbing my head while I'm thinking about it. I really love, like, funky ass hip hop R&B, like a cute ass little, like, just skip on the beat, just like, that's my shit. Like, that's my shit.
You know, it's funny. I can hear it in my head. When you're describing it, I'm like, yeah, I can hear it in my head.
Just like, damn, like, oh, but you know what though? I would regret it if I didn't mention Lauryn Hill's. Like, what?
Yeah.
So that's three, but
I feel you. Yeah. You can hear it though. I think
that's my holy trinity.
Yeah, you can hear it. That's a good trinity to have though. I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that. That's a versatile trinity too. It's a versatile trinity. Okay, so we talked about this a little bit. As a woman, as a female in the game, you've been in. What is this like? What pressures come, and how do you like combat these pressures?
Okay, so there are a few.
Okay.
I'm a self-proclaimed feminist.
Okay. So
let me hold on, I gotta tie my shit up first. Let me so there are a few. I think being taken serious as a woman just in any aspect sometimes can be more difficult than it ever should be. Even I've had multiple experiences, both while I've been here in LA, even in this specific environment, which you're aware of, outside in studios and professional settings with the people who I've been lucky enough to meet, where I'll be sitting in the room as an artist, as a female artist, in a room full of nigga artists, and new niggas will walk in and I'll say, hey, they'll completely skip over me and won't say shit to me.
Damn.
But when they find out who I am or who I know or what I'm here for, then they're like, oh, what's up? And now all of a sudden I'm this, that, or I'm talented, or I'm that. And that shit's so whack to me. That shit's so fucking whack. But it's just like, it's really teaching me, like, I have to assert myself.
Yeah.
And and the thing about it that's so crazy is because it's like, if you want to be a respected female, you have to condemn sex. But don't be prude. Don't be fucking like, don't be untouchable.
Yeah.
You have to be smart, but not smarter than the boss. You have to be a good girl, but you still have to be, it's just like, it's nothing but contradictions.
Yeah.
So really what it's taught me is just like, break the mold and fuck it. Just be whoever and whatever the fuck you are.
Yeah.
Even if it's avant-garde, completely left field, doesn't make any sense. As long as you're assertive and you stick up for yourself and you say how you feel and what you mean, which is something that I'm just still kind of embracing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of been what I've learned so far. Yeah. Just being assertive, and then also knowing like the bullshit's gonna come. Niggas gonna try you. People are gonna talk to you weird or crazy, but like, unfortunately, having a vagina is a part of it.
Yeah, and that's fucked up. Obviously we live in a fucked up system. It's a system. Yeah, it's just some other shit that's just a whole different conversation.
Yeah.
So obviously, Maya, you're very beautiful on like physically inside and out, and I know that. So, has your beauty ever um, overshadowed your talent, or
If
vice
I'm being
versa?
completely honest, it's so crazy because I think people perceive me, I know I perceive myself completely different than how other people do.
Okay.
Because in my own personal experience, I feel multiple times, and it's crazy because this question transcends just like my talent. Does my beauty overshadow my talent? I feel like this like falls into like my relationships or like the connections that I have with people. Like, if you ask me, I'm just like average chilling, whatever. I don't know, somebody's pulling up. I'm just like average chilling or whatever. But I feel like a lot of the times people think I'm attractive or find me attractive, and so they that's as deep as our connection goes. Okay. Like, not really interested in getting to know me at all. And then also, just as far as talent is concerned, like, of course people would think like, oh well, she's only this, that, and the third because she's cute, or she's only whatever because she looks good. Hold on, let me look at it real quick.
You were talking about that your beauty is often the deepest the connection goes for people.
Yeah.
So
just being, but it's crazy because we also live in a world where everything is about aesthetics. Yeah. Yeah. So even if it's a matter of like just always having to be on your P's and Q's, especially also because I am a girl. So it's like everything I do has to just kind of be perfect. Otherwise it's irrelevant. So I have to look really good. If I'm gonna sing something, I have to sound really good, or else it's just not enough. But even if I do suck, if I look good, then it's okay. Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense. You know, it makes sense. It goes back
to
whack
as fuck, but
contradictions. Yeah.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. Yeah. Now I feel that. So, I know these answers to these questions, but I feel like I do rather. But do you consider yourself an overthinker or a perfectionist?
I'm both.
Okay.
I overthink everything, and there's no such thing as perfection, but I try to get as close to perfect as I can. But what is perfect?
Yeah.
It's crazy because I'm reading a book right now that talks about that and how you really like create the idea of perfection as a child. Yeah. And it's so crazy how subconscious that is, because it's like, you know how when you're a kid and like a little kid, they do something, you're like, oh, you're such a good boy. Because that's a reward for whatever behavior it was that they show. Yeah. Yeah. But then subconsciously the message behind that is, okay, so when I'm not behaving like this, then does that mean that I'm not good? Yeah. Or I'm a bad kid. Yeah. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
So then you really build the idea of perfectionism off of when you get those verbal rewards. Yeah. So like, this makes me a good person, or this doesn't, or then you turn on the TV and it's like, okay, well, this is perfect and that's not. So then you create this idea of what is perfect. Yeah. Yeah. And then also really just building off of the idea of perfection that is created. Like, now you become an overthinker because it's like, okay, well, if I don't do this, then I'm not perfect. Yeah. So what can I do to make me even better? So it's a loop of fucking insanity.
It is.
It's a loop of insanity.
It is a fucking loop of insanity, which is, if you ever look up I think people use the word all the time, but they never look up the actual definition. But the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, different results. And I don't think people realize that when they say, well, I feel like I'm just going insane, or this is insane. Like, if you look at the literal definition and then you parallel it with your personal associative, dissociative behaviors, or whatever the case it is, like, you will see, some of the shit that you're doing, or the learning that we're learning, the conditioning, is definitely insane. It's like literally the definition of insanity, which is stupid. Yeah. And it self-contradicts itself.
Oh, what? Well. I did. That's whose truck is that? For real? That shit hard as fuck.
I ain't even touched the rest of the questions, but I'm thoroughly fucking enjoying this conversation.
Me too. I'm not gonna lie. Me too.
So this feels good. So I'm gonna ask you about a video that got reposted.
Okay.
You did this cover to the song.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
And it gets reposted.
Okay.
Do we want to say by who?
Yeah.
Okay, you do a cover to this song, and it gets
Hmm.
reposted by Trippie Redd.
Yes.
He doesn't just repost it. He also puts like an emoji, just something that
Yeah.
is significant to this new generation of communication.
Yeah.
Explain that to me. What happened? What was your thought doing that? And then what happened after that?
I have to tell. So I have to tell the whole story. So
Okay, yeah.
back in Virginia,
VA 75.
back in 75,
You know what I'm
I
saying?
was a water girl.
Newport News, know what I mean?
Okay, period. Portsmouth, Town, big Portsmouth. So
Yeah.
I was a bottle girl. So I was at work. You know, the bottle girl is the girl who got there, put the little fucking stupid ass bathing suit type shit on, walk around, give niggas bottles and sell them drinks and shit. So I'm at work, and this is an after hour spot. So I work from 1 to anywhere from 5 to 7 a.m.
Okay.
And then also some nights I would work the club too, so from 10 to 2.
Okay.
But I would leave early, so whatever. I'm at work, goddamn, getting some bottles up and shit, getting some bottles together, whatever. I get out the little bathroom because I had to pee. I come back out and check my phone, and I said it was a notification that said Trippie Redd. I was like, this got to be like a little fan page.
Yeah.
What the fuck going on? I look, it's some fire emojis, and I'm like, what the fuck going on? So then I scroll, and then he commented again and was like, we gotta work, and I was like, whoa.
Wow.
What's up, Bree? Excuse me. And at work, tripping the fuck out. It's probably like 3 a.m. or something like that. Just tripping the fuck out. Like, this can't be real life. Mind you, it's so crazy because the same way I have my phone set up right now, my phone right now is sitting on the back of a fan, and there's like something behind it. Yeah. So I recorded that video the same way. I had my phone on the back of a fan. I had like a cup behind it so they could sit up right. And my best friend and her baby Janelle and Bryson were over. Bryson kept like crying and like knocking my phone over and like throwing shit and just all type of shit was going on. So I asked Janelle and Bryson to leave. I made a little singing video or whatever. And I was so like just frustrated and just like, it's getting late now. And I'm trying to do all this singing and just all this shit's going on or whatever. Oh, the car looks so good. They just all outside my window at the damn car. But,
my bad.
So I was just trying to keep my composure at work because I'm still at work. So then it was like, probably a couple days went past maybe.
Yeah.
And I got a DM from somebody on his team. And he was like, you're super dope, whatever. Like, we'd love to work with you, whatever. And it was just kind of like, whatever. I hadn't heard from him since.
Yeah.
So I was listening to his new project, and it was one of the songs up there. Don't need love. That never changed. And so I covered like a little piece of it, just like was singing it or whatever. Then he reposted it again. I was like, okay, so there's some shit going on.
Oh, there was 2 reposts.
So this wasn't even a repost. The first one was a comment, and the second one was a repost.
Oh, got it. Okay, yeah.
Yes. So when I was like, whatever, at best he'll see it.
Yeah.
He saw it, reposted it. Then after he reposted it, he took a picture, like he had a picture of me and put the picture of me up on the on his story. It was just a lot of shit going on. And I was just like in disbelief. So then I get a message again from the guy on his team. His name is E. Flew me out.
Yeah.
You got the little, like, you got to do a little, like, working and just hanging out and just getting to know each other. And so, yeah, it's really just, it was a crazy experience. But still like an ongoing experience. I'm now like more familiar with everybody. Everybody's so sweet.
Yeah.
Like, I've never met a more sweet, genuine, like, I guess we just have this perception of like people who are celebrities or who are like just well known that they're gonna be like arrogant or assholes. Like, no, these niggas are so kind.
Yeah.
So yeah. So
Damn.
yeah, it's just been it's been wonderful.
That's
It's been a
good.
wonderful experience.
That's dope as fuck. I seen it,
Yeah.
and obviously I know more than what the people will know,
Right.
but um, you know, it's just dope as fuck, and it's well deserved. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
And honestly, through Myiah, I think I built an appreciation for their music because
Yes.
honestly, I wasn't looking because I'm gonna be honest, the physical throws me off. Like,
Really?
yeah, the physical throws me
Yeah.
off because I'm like, okay, first of all, in my mind, back when we were having the conversation of mumble rapper versus real rapper, whatever, he
Yeah.
was in that category for me because he was in this
Wow.
or whatever.
And I think, but do you know what though? I think a lot of people feel like that, and it's so crazy because after being even more exposed to him,
Yeah,
he's a fucking genius.
yeah,
This nigga hears melodies and cadences that like I personally feel like I couldn't even dream of. Of
yeah,
course, we're in a different genre, but it's like he's really brilliant.
yeah,
It's and there's not, and it also just kind of comes with seeing things as either black or white. Like let's as a people even learn how not to just box people in based off of things, because I'm not gonna lie, I was in that category too, just like assuming like this is gonna be like a mumble rap situation, even though I was familiar with his music because my little brother is a fan.
yeah,
So I've heard his stuff before, and it's really kind of like, it's crazy because it almost even leans into the like rock alternative rap type,
I can hear that.
and then it could even cross over into like a R&B. Like it's his ear is crazy.
Yeah,
His ear and his pen is crazy.
it's you already know my favorite song, but like just hearing it is just very different, and so
Yeah.
it's just a different appreciation, and it makes me
Yeah.
recognize like you do have to listen. Like it may be a lot of added
Mhm.
effects, it may be a lot of different melodies and things that you're not used
Right.
to, but when you
Mhm.
push past all the bullshit that like society teaches you to
Right.
look at and learn,
Right.
and listen and genuinely mindfully listen, it
Yeah.
is he's a very talented person. So
He is.
you know, I think
And
that's dope as fuck.
yeah, and then music is always changing and shifting, and
Yeah,
it's like even like I was talking about again earlier, being a fixed sign. It's like being so comfortable with what I like and what I'm used to, like,
mhm,
but understanding that like things change and life is all about being fluid. And I think he's just kind of one of those people, at least sonically, musically,
mhm,
who is just so fluid, and he doesn't box himself in,
yeah,
which is so inspiring for me, at least, because I'm so like, I hate when somebody else tries to put me in a box, but
yeah,
I'm starting to realize I'm so quick to put myself in my own boxes
me too.
and make myself out to be one thing. And being able to like watch somebody grow and flow and change and just move, at least that's how I perceive
Yeah,
him and his art.
yeah,
That shit is just crazy to me.
yeah,
It's crazy inspiring.
that's dope
So
as fuck.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that's dope as fuck, man.
It is.
It's just
I'm
dope.
sorry.
It's so well deserved, man. And
Thank
just
you.
that's all I literally can say. It's dope as fuck and well deserved. Like that's you just have to know Myiah, and even if you don't, once you hear Myiah, once it's time for everybody to hear Myiah, y'all are gonna realize and be like, "Yep, that's about right. That sounds about right." So, all right, let's keep going because I don't want to keep you here all day, and I got a whole bunch of questions from people I need to get out the way.
Okay.
Okay, so
Okay.
with music, are you more attracted to the sound or the lyrics for you when you write?
The sound.
Okay.
I'm gonna be honest. Sometimes the lyrics, I mean the lyrics matter always, but
Yeah.
the sound is what draws me in initially.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Anything other than music that you're interested in? Now, I wanna um, give a caveat to that people notice your fashion. That was a lot of the things that kept coming up was your style
Okay.
and your fashion. So,
Okay.
is there anything else that you're interested in, and does your fashion kind of mirror the music or the mood that you're in?
I think probably the way that I dress is really just dependent upon my mood or how I'm feeling. It really doesn't it's really not like rooted in anything. And I don't even think that I would say that fashion is something that like I'm diehard passionate about. I like to look good, but I also think that probably falls into the fact that I'm a bit of a perfectionist.
Okay.
I want to be presentable.
Okay.
But also owning the fact that like, cause I used to feel guilty about like, I feel better when I look good because it made me feel, am I stuck up or am I like a certain, but like, who gives a fuck? I think most people feel better when they look good.
Absolutely.
And you should want to feel good. And if looking good makes you feel good, who gives a fuck? Like, but, fashion isn't necessarily something I'm passionate about. It's just a matter of like, I like to look good, but then I'm also aware that like, maybe it's not really a style that it can be boxed.
Yeah.
I like to be fluid. Some days I want to wear my hair wrapped up. Some days I want to wear some see-through shit and be a little like risque. Some days I want to be more modest.
Yeah.
It's just all about feeling, just like with anything. Yeah. It's so crazy though, because now that I'm talking about that, it's like, that's so funny. I can feel my way through outfits, but I can barely feel my way through like being able to talk about or express my feelings. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
That's very interesting.
But I think it's funny that you brought that up because I'm about to start a YouTube page.
Okay.
And I'm gonna post on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Sundays. Monday is gonna be a music Monday. I'll probably do like either a cover or like some original or like a remix or something. Yeah. Wednesdays is gonna be like more like vlog like type thing, talk about whatever. Yeah. So like I'll take suggestions. Maybe I'll do like some fashion stuff on Wednesday or something. And then Sunday is going to be like a soul Sunday where I just kind of talk through like how I'm feeling or maybe even like, everybody doesn't know. And it's kind of, I kept it this way for a few reasons because I just don't really like to, a part of that shapeshifter mentality that I have, but like I do cards, like I do tarot cards. Yeah. So Sunday I'll probably like talk about some things like some spiritual stuff or like how I'm feeling emotionally and mentally. Maybe I'll do a few things where I pull cards. Like we'll see. It's still in development, but
that sounds dope as fuck though.
Thanks.
Let me tell you about them tarot cards. I'd never had it done before. Myiah did it for me when we first met. And obviously we were still building our relationship, but we were familiar with each other enough. She did it and hit some shit right on the nail, like hit it right on the head. Like, but to the point I dropped my phone, screenshot it, dropped my phone, and it was things that I was like dealing with at the time. So that kind of stuff it's scary, but I've seen it in different, not scary in a bad way. It's scary because I've seen it in different settings. I've seen that through tarot cards, but I've also seen that in church. So it's like, it's two different, it's the same thing, but it just looks projected very differently. So definitely.
And then it's also when you've grown up in church or if you've experienced church life or if you have church people in your family, like they'll be so quick to tell you that it's not of God. And that's even what I heard when I first started. But we all connect through God differently. And then we would be foolish to believe that we serve a God no matter what title you call him. But we would be foolish to believe, at least from the way that I perceive God, that he's not a God of intention and that he doesn't create ways and tools to really connect and hear from him. Because please point to me a person, except for maybe somebody in the church, I personally have never heard the voice of God. Not the real, like what he actually sounds like, but have I really sat down and like found peace and felt the calm of God or like felt a message from God? Or have I pulled cards and like heard from God, like that's spoken and poured into my life? Yes. Yeah. And so that's just how I experience and strengthen and utilize like my gift and connection with God. Like that's just how I get it done.
Yeah. Yeah. So. You got to do it. A personal relationship is more important than anything. And as long as you know and the individual knows, that's the most important part, because honestly, it keeps going back to the same thing. Who gives a fuck? Like, if it's my thing, it's my thing. And if it's right, it's right. And if it's wrong, it's wrong. We're going to find out in the end. But don't nobody really know right now. Right. So that goes right back into that. So, who would you want to collaborate with in the future? Who's your dream collaboration?
You know what? I just recently really started to love Princess Nokia.
Oh, okay, yeah.
She has a song called Gemini that I really love.
Yeah.
She has a song called Gemini that I really love. Who else would I really want to collaborate with? Sometimes collaborations like throw me for a loop because it's like I have artists that I admire, but just because you admire an artist doesn't necessarily mean that you need to collaborate. But first of all, my top #1 collaboration, VA all day, is Chris fucking Brown.
Okay, yeah.
Chris Brown.
Yeah.
Could you imagine? Yeah. Could you imagine a Myiah Lynnae Chris Brown?
That shit would be wavy as fuck.
That shit would be fucking crazy.
Two singing ass motherfuckers just.
Two singing country motherfuckers. That shit would be insane.
That would be a bop. I'm not gonna hold you.
But right now, at the top of my list is really just Chris. I haven't really sat and really thought about it. Really, Chris is just like my #1. Like, maybe when I get that out the way, I'll be able to like see the vision of somebody. Of course, Beyonce.
Yeah.
Like, let's be real.
Yeah.
But Chris Brown for sure.
Okay. So when y'all watch this video, go tag Chris Brown and tell her, send Chris Brown to Myiah's page. Don't play no game. That's it. And let's make it happen. You know what I'm saying? That'd be the dope part. So, okay. So here's some more questions, and then we'll get into underrated and favorites, and then we'll kind of try to wrap it up. But I'm still happy here. As long as you good, I'm good.
I'm chilling.
Okay, good. Yeah. So one of the a question I got was about the key of life on your hands, and then if there's a story behind it, or why did you get that particular tattoo?
Okay, so I'm definitely more spiritual than I am religious.
Okay.
Not to say that I denounce religion, but I just think, again, it's one of those things that can definitely box you in. Yeah. And I noticed that when I was super heavy into church, like, and don't get me, first of all, I'm just a very spiritual person anyway.
Yeah.
But when I was a person who would be in a church speaking in tongues, shouting, like really just like going all out for God. Yeah. And I still go all out for God. It's just now I've really kind of found my own nook.
Yeah.
Where I'm comfortable, where I can really feel like I'm sitting beside God and not just like standing searching for him. You know what I'm saying? Like, absolutely. I really feel like I'm in the presence of. So I have the Ankh, which is just a representation of eternal life, and then I have the Eye of Ra. So the Eye of Ra is just like about protection or like luck. So it's really just about like having protection and luck, or being blessed, being protected and blessed, like through my eternal life.
Okay. From this
life to the next life to the afterlife to the spiritual life, like it's just for the rest of my life.
Okay.
Is what that is. So yeah.
I think that's dope. I heavily relate to that.
Yeah.
I was heavily involved in the Church of God in Christ before I moved, and so like the shouting, tongue speaking, like prophets. Yeah. It's a thing. Like, you honestly have to go see it for yourself in order to really get it. But after we moved to South Dakota, once again, really strengthened a personal relationship with God, where me and God talk every day on a personal note, like just kind of kicking it with him and thanking him, or it's a question or whatever the case it may be. It's not just within the four walls of a brick and mortar church. Like, I can have church like in my heart. You know what I'm saying? So, that was great. You answered a lot of these already though. So how did we meet, our relationship? Okay, boom. The journey of, and this was a very specific question I had to ask, the journey of the pop-in video. How did that happen, and what would you do different?
There are a lot of things I would do different.
Okay.
I'm so appreciative for the video. I think that where I was at the time, like, I'm so appreciative for the videographer, Virtue, by the way, who is fucking a phenomenal videographer, photographer based in Virginia. And his growth is exceptional. And I think just like with anything, it was really just like a matter of growth. I think that what I would do different is, originally, and I try to put meaning, and sometimes I try to put more meaning, and this just has to do with being an overthinker. Like, sometimes I try to put more meaning or more depth into things that really don't need to be that much. So the video ended up being reduced much more than what I had originally planned. But at first, what I had in mind was like, I want to have a whole bunch of beautiful black women, like strong black women, like doing what makes them feel popping as fuck. Like if you're an artist, I want you to come like paint shit. If you dance, I want you to come and dance, and, like just show off whatever the fuck. Like that's what I really had in mind at first.
Yeah.
But then it just kind of got reduced and simplified because my mom was like, you know, I know that you have like a humanitarian heart, but everything doesn't need to be about saving the world, or everything doesn't need to be about empowerment, which I guess, yes, that's true. And so it really just kind of turned into like, just like a fun, like, let me feel popping and let me, also, let me tell you something about it. First of all, I was only supposed to be visiting Virginia when I shot that video.
Oh, okay.
I ended up going through like a breakup whilst shooting the video.
Oh, shit.
And all types of shit went on. This shit was just crazy.
Oh, fuck.
So I'm shooting the scenes for my video. In between that, I'm fussing with my boyfriend at the time.
Mm-hmm.
We end up breaking up. I still got to shoot the end of the video.
Yeah.
I was broke as fuck when I got back from Virginia. All the outfits I wore in the video was straight out of fucking Ross, dressed for less, my nigga. Like, just in that bitch, like, well, this might be cute. This might be cute.
Yeah.
Ross and Rainbow, fucking Rainbow.
Ooh, the combination. Ooh-wee. I'm never gonna knock a Ross and Rainbow. I've shopped at Ross and got a hella clothes from Ross.
Okay, so what the fuck? You could, first of all, you could be popping as fuck out of Walmart if you just got it like that.
Yeah, for sure.
But so yeah, I had to learn the choreography, and it's so crazy because I remember having a day with the choreographer Kiera, oh my God, she's just a phenomenal dancer and just woman and person, period. But I've known her since middle school, and I asked her if she could choreograph for me for the video, and she came, and I remembered like the very last day I was just kind of telling her about like the whole group experience, because I was just recently like fresh out of the group too, and I was just like, and I just feel so insecure, and I don't know if this does that, and I'm just crying, and she's like, girl, stop crying, what you crying for, I'm sorry. And so everything, it's just so funny how everything in life just kind of like connects with each other, and how things have like long lasting effects. But anyway, back to the video. So we do the choreography. It's really just about me like bopping around, feeling cute, having fun, whatever. But I think I would definitely put together a budget. Okay. Also, Virtue shot that video for me for free, so I can't be anything but thankful. And I think the video turned out amazing, considering how last minute and how all over the place and sporadic my own ideas were. I would definitely put together a budget. I would have definitely paid him, even if he didn't ask. I expect to be paid for what I do, and I can't imagine that anybody wants any less. So I would have definitely loved to have given him some type of money, but I was, like I said, I was down fucking bad. Everything, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, and by physically I mean monetarily. I was fucked. But yeah, I would have a budget. I would pay. I would have a more concise storyline or treatment for the video. It would be more creative and not just you know, I'm here, I'm dancing a little bit, I'm singing this. It would be like some crazy shit going on, like, I don't know, fucking pineapple, like talking pineapples, I don't know, it would just be weird. It would be like cool and just like different. Real avant-garde and just eclectic.
If you haven't heard Poppin', go listen to Poppin'. That's one of my favorite songs. I love that song. Down. Like it's a song that you would think offhand, you would think at first glance, you would think this is a song for women, but not actually. I was playing when I first heard it. I played that shit over and over and didn't give a fuck. And now I played it before because I took the weekend just to go through your entire discography. But like. And even the songs that other people don't know about too, because fuck, man, not even the new ones. I'm talking.
You lucky.
The original project, yeah. Oh, I still got your last album. Is still in my notes. The one that was supposed to come out. I'm not gonna say the title, but
the old Girl Talk.
Oh yeah, Girl Talk. Girl Talk was supposed to come out. The intro. It's some shit on that motherfucking album, that project that I love. And I'm mad that I don't know when maybe it'll come out eventually or whatever the case may be.
Maybe.
Love that. I love that. I love it, and y'all suck because y'all can't hear that shit. So, So what are some tips you have for coming up artists for their first song, their first video, whatever. What are some tips that you can give them?
So maybe not even necessarily let's start even before you get to the first song or the first video.
Okay.
One thing I would say is just don't rush. Take pride in being paceful. Take and this sounds so cliche, but it's just so real. Yeah. And this is why people say it. You wonder why shit becomes a cliche? It's because it's fucking true.
Yeah. Yeah.
Trust the process and just keep doing it. You only fail when you quit. There have been so many times where I've sat and thought, like, there's no fucking way I would be. Do you think that I would have ever thought that I would be where the fuck I am in this exact fucking moment with the people that I'm surrounded by in this very second?
Yeah.
I would have never imagined, especially coming out of so many situations where it's like I'm being told and the story that I'm hearing is you fucking suck. Like, just like being my very first experience in the studio, I was probably 16. I went in there to sing something. And this was while I was in the group. I went in there to sing something. I thought I was in there singing my heart out. Mind you, with every girl group, there are the people who, like, just singers. Yeah. And then there are people who are beautiful, just like you asked before as well. There are people who are beautiful, but maybe aren't necessarily as vocally strong as the others. And I went in there and I sang to the best of my ability. Yeah. And the guy pulled me out of the studio and said, "You sound fucking terrible. Get the fuck out." A 16-year-old, and you're a grown-ass fucking man. Damn. So I leave out, and I'm just like, wow, that's fucking crazy. So then what made it even worse was he sent in one of the people who was not a vocalist. He sent in somebody who was not vocally strong. He sent in somebody who maybe should have been a rapper. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry.
No, I feel you.
And that's not even meant to be like dead ass. Like maybe you should have been rapping. Yeah. But sent them in, and I'm just thinking in my head, like, wow, like, oh, I'm fucking trash. Like, I'm sitting there thinking, like, damn, I suck. So be brave enough not to quit. Yeah. And be crazy enough to push past your insecurities, because that shit is hard, and it takes somebody who's maybe a little, like, not screwed all the way together. Yeah. Because there's gonna be times where everything's gonna suck. You're gonna feel like you're the worst. Not only are you gonna feel like you're the worst artist, at least for me, because some people have crazy confidence and they don't go through shit like this, but that's not true for me. Yeah. But I know that I personally experienced times where it's like, why am I even fucking here doing this shit? Like, why am I even making music? Why do I even try? I'm never going to be this person. I'm never going to be that person. But if Beyonce had stopped when she first started Destiny's Child, she wouldn't be fucking Beyonce right now. She wouldn't be able to do the crazy vocal shit that she can do now. Yeah. So it's really honestly just a matter of, like, just don't quit. And just keep trying new shit. Even if you're sitting at the booth or if you're in the studio and you're like, this is trash. Like, this don't even, the shit I'm saying or the melody stuff, like, just do it anyway. Just trust the process. Yeah. Because you never know. Oh, my God. You never know where this shit could land you. Yeah. You just don't. Yeah.
And I think that's also important for any creative, too, as well. Just, like, listening to you talk in any capacity. Like, if you're a podcaster and you want to podcast, then podcast your ass off. Like, you're a painter, you want to paint, then paint your ass off. And to go back to the statement you just made, don't put yourself in a box of time. Don't feel like I'm too old for this, or I'm too old for this. I'm going to give you can give yourself a goal, but don't let other people or other people's experience and be like, well, you grown now, so you should probably get a job. Like, once again, that duality, you can exist and work to fund your dreams. That does not mean you got to give up on your dreams. Like me, I don't give a fuck if 5 people listen to these interviews, if 5 people listen to the podcast, if 5 people listen to my music. If that's the case, my motto has always been either 5 or 500. Like, I don't give a fuck if you put me on stage and there's 5 people in the crowd. I'm going to give those 5 the same energy I would give 500 people. Because it's not fair that I have a loyal 5, but I'm not appreciative to them. I would
So
rather
true.
have 500. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
Right.
I think that's like fucking perfect advice. Like, do keep hustling, trust the process, invest in yourself. Like that's the
Yeah.
biggest thing, and don't be
Yeah.
afraid of yourself either. So
Yes. Don't be a shapeshifter.
nope, nope.
Because then you're gonna have to live in that. Then you're
Yeah.
gonna have to be that.
Mhm.
Especially if, and I say it like this because I just mean it wholeheartedly. God forbid you pop as a shapeshifter.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you gonna
Ooh,
do when
fuck.
you're just completely disconnected from the projection of yourself that you're selling to the people? You're gonna feel so empty
Yeah. Yeah.
and so invisible.
Yeah.
And for me anyway, I think living invisible is it's a nightmare.
Yeah.
Because who do I go, like, who do I run to? It's just like I was saying like, who can I talk to?
Yeah.
If I'm giving off this projection of myself, nobody really knows me or sees me.
Yeah.
So then you keep it to yourself and you bottle it in, and then now you are again in this loop of insanity and you're just fucked.
And you just fuck, and you can't. And we find ourselves to keep blaming people like, well, I feel like you said, like the self-isolation, like I feel so alone, nobody understands me, but we don't, a lot of the times we don't give anybody a chance to understand because there is a fear of people taking advantage of us. And like, I get that. But at some point, if you never try, then you never succeed. And so it's hard, but sometimes you have to do it. And sometimes you're going to fail. People will fuck you over.
Yes.
But it's a part of the process, and in the end, it's worth it. In the end, it's just worth it in the end.
Let me just say this as a whatever, and honestly, this is one of the things that I kind of like don't really like to talk about because it's just like I don't want to bring any like attention to it, but I've never really spoken about it before, so it is what it is, whatever. I know when I first left the girl group and I was in a relationship. And it's so crazy because the relationship that I was in was almost like a parallel, like it was like the flip side of the group.
Yeah.
It was like I was feeling all the same feelings, but the input was different. Like I was plugged into a new device, but it was the same sound.
Yeah.
So when I first left the girl group, I was so depressed, and then I was like, it seemed like things were really like going for them, and like, oh, maybe there's deals, or now they're getting attention, or it's new, this is happening, and I was like, oh, I made the fucking worst decision of my life. Yeah. I made a terrible decision. I'm never gonna obtain my goal because they were my way to the goal.
Right.
They were my end all be all.
Yeah.
And I left, and I went through multiple pits of depression, anxiety, fucking different loops of insanity that I was falling in and out of. Like I went through all these different like ups and downs, and on my own, out of my mom's house in my bedroom, mind you, my mom's house is full of people. There's a lot of us in that fucking house, and it's not a big house.
Yeah.
Out of my bedroom, I was able to just sit in what I love to do and just refine the passion and the love for singing. And off of doing what I love, I was seen. Yeah. They not only did they see me, but they felt me enough to fly me out. Like, what the fuck? Yeah. So just don't stop. And even if you feel like, oh my God, like I've made like a career-ending decision. You've only made a career-ending decision when you decide to quit. I never quit. Even when I felt like I'm not doing enough. I'm not doing enough to really like make it where I want to be. Like dead ass, I'll do my makeup. I sit in my room on my bed and I make singing videos. Yeah. And that was enough. All it was me in front of my camera and a speaker and somebody else's fucking song. Won't even my shit. Yeah. And that was enough. So literally, just like in the Bible when it says about having faith of a mustard seed, even if you don't even feel like you have faith, a mustard seed is so fucking small. Sometimes it can feel like you don't have faith, but hold on. Faith is the action.
Keep talking.
The action is the faith.
Yeah.
It doesn't even matter if you feel it or if you believe it, but if you can take action in it, enough to just follow through with something, like that's the faith, that's the power. Yeah. So just fucking do that. Just do it. Yeah. That shit.
You talking good, man.
Yeah, that shit is real.
You talking like that faith without works is dead. That quote
Yeah,
it's powerful because you can
yeah,
believe all day long, but if you never put no like, I'm imagining that same scenario where you believe, like, you know, you could kill that song, you knew you could kill it, but if you never recorded the video, let the frustrations of everything that was happening in your environment like determine that night and
yeah,
affect your mood and change things, like,
yeah.
what would you be?
Oh, because I was like, I'm about to just not fucking do it.
Right.
When I tell you, I made at least 12, 30-minute, each one of them 30 minutes.
Mm.
I went for hours trying to record that same song for 1 minute.
Yeah.
Instagram snippets are just like a minute. And I don't even know if it was like a full minute that I posted, but yeah, I spent hours doing that shit just because there was a lot of shit going on. And then I had to ask my friend and my little nephews, y'all got to get the fuck out. I'm sorry, I need to make this fucking video.
Yeah.
And I couldn't stop.
For a reason.
So, yeah.
For a reason.
Yeah.
Man, Myiah just talking tonight. So, so people want to know, what do you tell yourself before your first performance? Like first, how did you feel about your first paid performance?
Oh, that's my first paid. I can't really think of what my first paid performance was, so I'm just gonna think of one of them because I kind of feel the same for all of them.
Okay.
My first paid, no, that's a lie. My first paid performance, I was like, I can't believe niggas is really like paying for this shit. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
That's how I felt.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, well, fuck it, let's do it.
Yeah.
But I was just like, I had to remind myself, like, I'm good enough to get paid for this.
Yeah.
And they're paying me for this because they want to see whatever the fuck I come and do.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what I do. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'm sorry,
Right.
I got the damn stick in the cup. It doesn't have to be perfect. Whatever perfect is, doesn't have to be that.
Yeah.
They just want me to show up and do what I love to do.
Yeah.
And so that's really just, it was really just more like a pep talk, like, fuck perfection or fuck whatever. Like, they know you're not Beyonce. They know you're not about to come out with fucking fire fucking machines and shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And vocals out the ass. Like, I'm gonna do the best I can. I'm gonna do what I can.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do what I do. And that's what they paid me for. And so that was just kind of like my comfort. Of course, I was still nervous as fuck. And of course, I was still like, I don't know if this shit gonna be good enough. But before every performance, I'm nervous. But now I love performing.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
love performing.
Yeah.
It's my favorite thing. So
It's not in the same capacity, but for me, I rather perform than record, because the
Really?
performance and feeding off of the crowd is just different. Whether they know the song or they don't, I can give you an energy that's different than recording. You got to worry about, okay, is this clipping? Let me see where this is at, and let me make sure I'm far enough off the mic and I can hear myself. Can I give it the same passion? When I'm performing, you're going to feel the vibe that I'm going to give you.
That's true.
And how the song should feel when you take it home with you. Like,
that's
when
true.
you leave this building, the way that I gave it to you is how it should be perceived at home. And so, like, that's why I like that. Me perform, I don't have the same confidence like recording that I do when I perform. So and then that makes why stalling of putting out music and all that stuff kind of difficult. But that's just.
But see, you also have to fortify that confidence when it comes to recording, especially I know, at least in my experience, when I'm recording in front of people, and I feel like we maybe even had a brief discussion about this after we did have that studio experience together. Just go in there and fucking do it. And it's easier said than done, because even now, even after then, I've had experiences where I've been in the studio and it's just like, oh, this is not Virginia. These aren't, and first of all, I love Virginia. Virginia's full of fucking talent, and not to belittle the talent in Virginia at all. But being around people who are established, and I really hope that people aren't taking this the wrong way, but being around people who are established, or being around niggas that I've fucking seen on TV. And I'm just like, bro, this is not just like my backyard. Or like niggas I know. This ain't just Day and them from around the corner who can rap their ass off. But I grew up with y'all. We comfortable. These are niggas who, like, I'm a little intimidated by, because I've seen y'all on TV. Like, y'all are really, like, here. Doing this, like, y'all doing it. So it takes a different level of confidence. But from any pond, jumping from one pond to the river to fucking so and so forth. It's just a matter of building that confidence. Unfortunately, not even necessarily unfortunately, but it's just like, you know, the confidence will even build even more when you begin to get that validation. Like, oh, that shit hard. Oh yeah, and then you'll start to feel yourself a little more. Yeah. Or remember who you are. Yeah. To really be able to stand in those shoes and like do it. Yeah.
Before I recorded Hide, everybody went to sleep, and I was so frustrated. And the last thing Myiah told me, because it was super duper late, it was like 2-3 in the morning, but she was like, "Dog, you was like top 5 lyricists in my book," and it was, and for me that was the verbal confirmation that I needed to like take that and store it with the frustration I was having and using that and then trying to turning it into what Hide is now. And so that it does matter, and you do have to have these people who just remind you you can remind yourself who the fuck you are, but I'm not gonna lie, these confirmations from people on the outside, because I was down, because I'm like, first of all, going back, yes, me and Myiah in the studio experience is going to be a hell of a lot different than the experience that she's having now. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I will make that comparison. And that's not even in a bad way. That's us in a house recording. This is something that's a whole different beast. So I can't even imagine what that's like. But
Beast is whoever came up with that is brilliant, because Beast is such a great way to explain that.
I can't even. When you text me one day. The time is different. So you text me one morning, and was like, if you could see the motherfuckers that have been walking through this house, it would blow your mind. And I couldn't even imagine. Like,
listen,
I couldn't imagine. I couldn't imagine.
It's just so crazy, because sometimes it's just like fear or anxiety, or just like that feeling of, I don't know. I feel like I touched on it. We've talked about so many different things, but just feeling like not feeling wanted or feeling inadequate. Like, we talked about this on the phone, because I remember I called you, I was crying about it. Just trapping myself in here. Yeah. I don't even want to go out there. I don't even want people to like see me. Yeah. Because I'm just from Portsmouth. I'm just Myiah from fucking Portsmouth. Yeah. And I still feel like that. But I can still be Myiah from Portsmouth and be around people who I admire, or people who inspire me on the level at which I will be. Yes. Not even want to be, but on the level I will be. Yes. Yes. So, yeah, but you really talked me out of funk, because after that I was like, man, fuck this, bro. Fuck this room.
Fuck this room. Fuck this house. But to be honest, that's it was one of the questions I had was like, do you tell yourself any affirmations before you perform or before you record?
A few things that I do tell myself are kind of like things that I've just already said, just kind of like, not necessarily affirmations, because when I think affirmation, I think I am, which I do affirm things to myself. A lot of times I do the affirming in like in the mirror, like, I'm beautiful, I'm worthy, I am valuable, I'm wanted. Like, these are the things that I tell myself, because those are the things that I struggle with most. Yeah. But when I'm recording and stuff, it's usually just like, I say things to myself like, it's okay to be vulnerable. Yeah. It's okay to let it out. Mm-hmm. It's okay to say what I feel. I'm just telling myself it's okay. Yeah. Like, that's my affirmation. Okay. It's okay. Or my mantra, it's okay. Yeah. So, and then whatever your spirit feels like just follows that. But like, it's okay is my studio and my performance mantra. Yeah. Yeah. I think that's great. And our conversation of just fuck it and fuck them. Oh yeah, that whole fuck them. Fuck them is a mantra. Fuck it is a mantra.
Fuck them is because, and fuck. We just, the thing is, and in my own, I can only relate it to my own personal experience. So it's like, it was like my first big performance was like a crowd of like over 300 people, and it was for me. It was like, what the fuck are they gonna think? Because they've never seen me in this light. They've never seen me do this. Like, you know what I'm saying? And articulating music is very different than your regular articulation, like in regular communication. Yeah. But at some point, the only thing I can hear in my head was like, it's God's gift, but it's your world. Like, God's gift in your world.
Yeah.
And it was just fuck them because they don't sign your check, they can't kill you. It's all of that. Like they're
Yeah.
not going to make or break you. Only if
Right.
you let them. Like opinions
Right.
hold as much weight as you let them. Like you let them hold. And
Right.
so, yeah, that I just
That's
relate to. I just relate to all that.
I just want to say this one time because it just keeps crossing my mind.
Mm-hmm.
So remember I told you how I have my phone rigged up right now for the interview.
Yeah.
I have my phone sitting on the back of a fan, and then I have like a stuffed animal like behind my phone so that it could prop up, right? But my fan is like in front of my mirror.
Mm-hmm.
There are so many people outside of my room right now, and I'm sitting here talking, and they probably think, is this bitch talking to herself? Let me go open the door. They probably think I'm crazy as fuck.
Oh my god.
Oh, it smells good in the hallway. They got candles lit. But yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck them. Fuck it.
Yeah.
It's okay. I am. Those are the mantras, and then follow it with whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever feeds your soul.
Yeah.
In that moment.
Okay. All right. So let's get to it. Underrated. We got a segment called Underrated and Favorite. What are your 2 top songs? And then I'm going to give you my 2 top songs of yours. And then, so you're going to give me top 2 songs and 1 underrated song of yours.
One underrated song. So can I do the underrated song first?
Yeah, for sure.
So the underrated song that I have is Cry Too Much.
Okay.
It's not on iTunes. I think it's only on YouTube.
Okay.
And it might have been on SoundCloud, but I took it off. I may or may not have taken it off. But it's definitely on YouTube. Cry Too Much is underrated. I love that song.
Mm-hmm.
And then my top 2. Can it be unreleased? I'll try and do just like songs that are out.
It's up to you. You can do whatever you want.
My top 2 songs. Irrational is my number 1 right now because I think I really like feel proud of myself, like for tapping into a different like side of myself.
Yeah.
And then Popping Off would have to be my other top, only because anytime I listen to it, it doesn't matter how much the song ages. Anytime I listen to it, I just feel like a boss.
Mm-hmm.
I feel good about myself.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. Popping Off is definitely my top 2.
Love it.
And then I have obviously I have Like You Do.
Yeah.
I have other shit that is unreleased, but I'm not gonna bring those up. So
Okay.
I have other favorites that exist, but people don't know that they exist. And I've told Myiah this before. But my underrated is Always Be You. And I was just listening to that song.
Yes, okay.
That I was listening
That
to
is a great song.
past 2 days. That song, man, and obviously I did notice that you took some things off of SoundCloud because that whole Back in the Days album, there was another song on there. Oh, I forgot what the fuck it was. It was like Brown.
That was another one like Poppin'. That one was just called Poppin', I think.
It was Poppin'. Your Brown Skin.
Yep.
Yes, that one. So
yeah,
that was Poppin' was my shit. But Always Be You.
I can send it to you.
Please do. Please send me whatever. Send me whatever.
And you can do whatever with those songs because I just don't really like. I don't really like. But yeah, I'll send it to you.
Okay. I love. Listen, when people send me music, I listen in general. But when Myiah sends me music, I gotta put my headphones in. I gotta really dive into it and really listen. But yeah, Always.
Oh, do you know what? I'm sorry. Another song that's not out though, that is a favorite of mine that I know you know is Crush.
Listen, is that ever gonna come out?
I don't know. I gotta settle some things with the producer about it, and then I have to re-record it because when I recorded it originally, my mic was backwards, so it sounds a little muffled. But yeah, I love
that song. It's so much shit in there. The intro to Girl Talk, I love that shit. All right. Let me stop. Let me keep going. Okay, so. What these last couple questions, what is your why? Like, why do you do what you do? Why do you keep going? What is your why?
Okay, so there are a few.
Okay.
Of course, my family life is one of them. Like, I want to be able to, like, I want to be a provider. I want to be able to take care of my family.
Yeah.
And that is my selfless why.
Okay.
But my selfish why is just because I love it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's for me.
Yeah.
And it's something that, like, only person who could ever take away, like, my ability to sing or write or whatever you want to call it, like, is God.
Mm-hmm.
And knowing that I have something that can't be snatched away from me physically, like, why wouldn't I do it to the best of my ability?
Yeah.
Or at least try whatever the fuck my best ability is. Like, I don't even fucking know what that is, but why wouldn't I just do it, period? Yeah. So really that's my why. I just love it. And as much frustration and anger or like disappointment as it brings me, because oftentimes people want to talk about, like, I love being a musician. I love it. It makes me feel like this. Niggas don't talk about when they're stressed out because they have writer's block, or when they're frustrated because they feel like the shit that I'm writing, I don't have writer's block, but the shit I'm writing fucking sucks to me. Like, niggas don't talk about that shit. Like, just as much pain and frustration and like anger that it brings me even more, or maybe not even more. Maybe it's about a balance, but it brings me a balance of like joy and happiness and like a good feeling about myself. It makes me feel good about myself. Yeah. So, yeah. I
think that's a great why.
Yeah.
What do you want people to feel when they listen to your music?
Hopefully, one, I want them to feel good if it's just like a bop. Okay. But if it's something that they can, if it's relatable, if it's something that they can relate to, I want them to feel seen. Yeah. Because like I've said, that's something that I struggle with, feeling seen or feeling heard. Like, I want people to feel like seen and heard and understood and loved even and accepted. Like, yeah, that's that.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that makes sense because you can hear that in the music loud and clear. What is your end goal? What is the end goal for Myiah Lynnae? What does that look like? Do you know? Like, what is it?
Ideally, and fuck it, because dream big. Ideally, in the next 4 years, I want to see myself like on TV, at award shows, #1 songs, like topping the fucking charts, like meeting the people who I've only ever seen on TV, even more than the people that I've met now. Like meeting my inspirations and like knowing them on a first name basis. Like, that's my end goal. Getting invited to the damn Rock Nation brunch.
with the pantsuit on. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. That's my end goal.
It's gonna happen too. It's gonna happen sooner than you think, to be honest. So Myiah, this has been sorry, I got one more. Put the people on. You get one song to make a fan forever. What is one song that people should listen to become a Myiah Lynnae fan forever?
That's hard. I'm like racing in my mind. I can't think of one. I'm gonna be honest.
Okay.
I can't think of one. I'm sorry. People keep calling me.
No,
I can't. Do you have one?
It depends on what mood you're in. You know it. What's out right now, you can go listen to Poppin' right now, and it's a whole vibe. Like You Do will give you it'll give you a small taste of Myiah's vocal range and vocal capability.
Okay. Yeah.
But when I hit, it's another song. Is it called Slide, or it's called Side My Side? Some with an S. You can hear the pen. You can hear the
Step
pen.
Aside.
All of this. Yes, that one. You can step aside. You can hear the pen. So there's a variety of ways to hear what Myiah is capable of and what she's about. Go listen to any of it. But I want to say go listen to Poppin' Off, because it'll put you in a vibe, and then you'll want to listen to something else and be like, well, what else she got? So I think that's a good hook to bring people in.
Okay.
Thank you, Myiah. This has been honestly just dope as fuck. Just a good conversation. Lots of insight. It has been.
Yeah.
It's an honor. I was excited about this one. Just like I am with all the rest of them, but I just know dope people and just want to make sure that they're highlighted. Where can people find you? Where can people find your music? What are your social medias like? What should they follow you on?
So you can find, if you look on YouTube or iTunes, Spotify, like any streaming services, you can find me at Myiah Lynnae. It's Myiah space Lynnae. It's long as fuck. I'm sorry, my mama just had just a long name, but I love it. Also on social media, it's the same thing. It used to be Myiah Lynnae Music, but I just kind of wanted to have, you know, a sense of unity about all of my platforms. So Instagram is Myiah Lynnae as well, MyiahLynnae. And then remember, y'all, I'm starting a little YouTube. Like, we're gonna be on YouTube having fun. So come find me, subscribe. Let me know some songs you want me to sing or remix or something.
That's gonna be dope. So that's Myiah, everybody. I'm glad you were able to meet Myiah for the first time, or meet Myiah again if you've been here already. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all, but y'all know that though. This has been another wonderful episode of InstaViews. My heart is like, I feel like I can go do some shit now. Like, I might go hop in the studio or some shit. So like,
I love it.
It's awesome as fun.
I love it.
Thank you, Myiah.
Yeah.
I love you. Big
love
blessings
you
on your life, and you know, everything that's coming is well deserved. You know what I'm saying?
Right back at you.
So, all right, y'all. I love y'all. Y'all know what it is. Stay tuned. New episodes every Monday. Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. You know what I'm saying? I love y'all. I appreciate y'all, but y'all already know that though. Y'all have a blessed day. We out. Peace.
Bye.
Talk to me next.
She gon' roll her weed up. I'm gon' grip her thigh. We gon' roll the windows down. We gon' live our life. I feel like alright. Yeah, everything's fine. Yeah. Look at me macking in my max, and I done figured it out. I'll peace out and detach them before stressing me out. I feel alright. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, y'all.
Everything's fine.
Oh, y'all. Oh, y'all.